Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today we're taking a focused look at Cameco Corporation, CCJ. You shared some interesting material on them, and our aim is really to pull out the crucial insights you need right now.
We've got a due diligence report from April 2025. There's a comprehensive update also from mid-April 2025 and a company overview as well.
Yeah.
So this gives us a pretty well-rounded perspective on Cameco, looking at everything from their finances to how the market's viewing them.
Our mission is to unpack where Cameco stands today, what forces are shaping its future, and maybe pinpoint some details that might be particularly compelling or perhaps unexpected for someone wanting a quick but still thorough understanding. Okay, let's get started with the financial picture then.
Let's go.
Based on the latest report, revenue is sitting around $3.1 billion. And it's probably worth noting this growth isn't just happening randomly. It seems fueled by increased global demand for uranium and also those strategic moves like their investment in Westinghouse.
That connection between revenue growth and the global need for nuclear energy, it's not just a coincidence, is it? The focus on energy security worldwide, plus this growing sense that nuclear is stable, low carbon. It's fundamentally shifting demand.
Puts Cameco in a good spot.
A very advantageous position, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And that Westinghouse investment, well, it looks like a core part of their strategy supporting this financial expansion. We should probably think about the specific synergies there, the future growth avenues beyond just the immediate financial boost.
Good point. Now, looking at earnings per share, or EPS, we see a positive trend recently. Q4 2024 was $0.26, which actually beat estimates. But there was that dip in Q3 2024, a small loss, apparently due to some operational factors. The forecast for Q1 2025 is $0.21, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on when they release earnings May 1st, I think.
May 1st, yes. That up and down with EPS, it does tell a story. The Q4 beats suggest maybe strong execution or perhaps just a more favorable market then.
And the Q3 dip.
A reminder that, well, in resource extraction, operational stuff happens. It's always a possibility. The Q1 consensus gives us a useful benchmark for their near-term performance. Beating estimates usually points to, good operational efficiency or maybe positive market conditions right then.
Okay. While we don't have the precise price-to-earnings ratio here, the sources mention that peers, like NextGen Energy, trade around, 25 times forward earnings?
Around that, yes.
And given Cameco's leading position, it likely trades at a premium. So you're probably paying a bit more for that perceived stability and market dominance. What does that forward PE tell us, really? And why might that premium be justified for a leader like Cameco?
Well, the forward PE basically shows how much investors are willing to fork over for each dollar of expected future earnings. A premium for Cameco suggests the market has higher confidence, probably in their established infrastructure, their involvement across the whole nuclear fuel cycle, not just reserves. It implies investors see more stable, predictable earnings growth ahead for them compared to some others.
Got it. One strong point seems to be their debt-to-equity ratio. It's at 0.24, relatively low. That suggests a more cautious financial approach compared to the industry average, doesn't it? Seems like a solid foundation.
It is a significant strength, especially in a cyclical market like uranium. A lower ratio means less financial risk. It gives them more flexibility maybe to pursue investments or just weather downturns without being swamped by debt. That conservatism can be really advantageous here.
They also have a good chunk of free cash flow, around $657 million recently mentioned. That's quite a bit of capital available.
That level of free cash flow offers considerable flexibility, yes. They could use it for, dividends, share buybacks, maybe more strategic acquisitions, or just reinvesting in their operations to boost efficiency or capacity. Lots of options.
So moving to the business landscape, what gives Cameco its edge? The sources point to their Tier 1 uranium reserves, over 457 million pounds proven and probable. That's a significant amount of high-quality stuff. What does Tier 1 really mean in this context?
Think of Tier 1 as the best quality deposits. Usually means richer ore concentrations, generally cheaper, easier to get out of the ground. So it gives Cameco a real cost advantage over competitors who might have lower grade stuff. And the sheer volume means long-term supply capacity too.
And they're vertically integrated, right, across the nuclear fuel cycle, plus that Westinghouse partnership for reactor services. So it's more than just digging up uranium.
Correct. Vertical integration means they're not just mining. They're involved in conversion, fuel fabrication. And now, through Westinghouse, even reactor services. Having control over more of that production process can lead to more stable revenue, better risk management across the different stages.
It's mentioned Cameco was a huge player before Fukushima, supplying something like 18% globally. With nuclear demand picking up again, they seem positioned to regain that kind of influence. Feels like a potential comeback story.
Yeah.
What's really pushing this demand resurgence?
This is where it gets interesting. Demand is up because of, well, a few converging factors. Global efforts to cut carbon emissions. Nuclear's role there is getting recognized. Geopolitical risks impacting supply security, think Russia sanctions, and also those secondary supplies of uranium. They're dwindling. These are pretty powerful forces creating a favorable environment.
But it's not all smooth sailing. There are challenges. Regulatory hurdles for new mines, competition from companies developing the small modular reactors, SMRs,
Right,
and the
ESMRs.
potential for oversupply if, say, Kazakhstan cranks up production. So potential pitfalls exist. How might that SMR competition impact uranium demand long term?
That's an important point about the changing landscape. SMRs could mean new, maybe expanding demand down the road, but the timeline for widespread adoption still a bit uncertain. Plus, their specific fuel needs might be slightly different from traditional big reactors, so it's both a potential opportunity and maybe a shift in market dynamics Cameco needs to watch closely.
Okay, let's talk leadership. Tim Gitzel, president and CEO since 2011, he's steered them through major market shifts, the post-Fukushima downturn, the recent recovery, partly through cost management, strategic moves like Westinghouse. No recent executive changes reported in these sources, so consistent leadership.
That consistency through big industry cycles can be reassuring for investors.
Yeah.
Gitzel's long tenure probably provides some stability and a consistent strategic direction as they navigate things.
What about insider activity? The sources don't give specifics, but they mention some recent insider selling could suggest maybe a bit of caution among executives, even with analysts sounding generally optimistic. It's something often tracked in filings.
It's an interesting potential divergence, isn't it? Insider selling isn't automatically a bad sign people sell for personal reasons,
Yeah.
but it does signal that maybe different stakeholders have different views on near-term prospects or just their own investment timelines. It's a piece of info that probably warrants looking into the specifics if you can find them.
Got it. The sources don't give a price-to-book ratio, but the industry average is mentioned as being around 1 to 2 times. And dividend yields in uranium, including Cameco, typically minimal or non-existent. So don't expect big income checks here.
That's right. The focus is usually on capital appreciation, the stock price going up rather than big dividends. It reflects the growth focus and the commodity price exposure of these companies.
Cameco's beta is likely over 1. That indicates more volatility than the overall market, which makes sense given its sensitivity to commodity prices, right? Sector average is around 1 to 1.5, so maybe expect bigger price swings.
A beta over 1 just means the stock price could see larger percentage moves up and down compared to the market average. Higher volatility is pretty typical for companies tied closely to commodity prices, which are influenced by all sorts of global factors.
And the key risks highlighted: potential supply chain issues from geopolitics, delays in mine permitting, also uranium price swings themselves, and changes in nuclear energy regulations. Those are the potential headwinds.
Understanding those risks is crucial. Geopolitical events can hit supply chains hard, especially for commodities. And the nuclear regulatory world is always subject to change, impacting producers directly.
On market movements, interesting tidbit. Cameco's stock jumped over 6% on April 11th, 2025, right as uranium prices rose. Pretty direct link there.
That strong correlation really highlights the fundamental driver. When uranium prices go up, it typically boosts the perceived value and profitability of producers like Cameco. Very direct impact.
And analysts. Firms like Bernstein, Desjardins recently raised their price targets for Cameco. They're citing the quality of the reserves and that broader decarbonization trend as supportive factors. So expert opinion seems positive.
The fact that analysts are raising targets and specifically pointing to reserve quality and the decarbonization tailwind, it does add some validation to a positive view on their prospects.
How does Cameco stack up against peers? NextGen Energy is seen more as a high-growth reserve play. Denison Mines more focused on exploration. Cameco, being more diversified across the fuel cycle, seems to offer more stability, but, as we said, tends to trade at higher multiples. Investors have choices depending on their risk appetite.
That comparison really shows the different risk-reward profiles available. Cameco's diversification across mining, conversion, fuel fabrication, it gives them a degree of resilience compared to companies just focused on exploration or early development.
And overall analyst sentiment appears positive. Average consensus price targets suggest, well, potentially significant upside from current levels. could be appealing.
The consensus targets do indicate that, on average, analysts expect the stock value to appreciate further based on their assessment of fundamentals and market conditions.
So bringing it all together, what are the key takeaways? Cameco looks like a leading player in a sector seeing rising demand. It's supported by seemingly strong financials and strategic assets. That recent stock surge and positive analyst views reflect this.
But it's really important to remember the inherent volatility in uranium and those potential risks we talked about, regulatory changes to geopolitics,
Right.
and that insider selling adds a bit of nuance to the generally bullish picture, doesn't it?
Good point. To dig deeper yourself, you could check Cameco's 10K filings on their investor relations site for more financial detail. Things like ROE, PB, financial terminals like Bloomberg or S&P Capital IQ for peer comparisons, and maybe SEDI.ca or SEC.gov for those insider transaction reports could offer more context too.
Keeping an eye on those primary sources lets you build a more thorough, current understanding of their performance and the potential risks and opportunities.
And definitely keep an eye out for that upcoming Q1 2025 earnings call on May 1st. That'll give the absolute latest from the company on market trends and how their strategy is playing out.
That call will be important, yes. For updates on operations, their market outlook, any shifts in strategic priorities.
We hope this focused exploration of Cameco has given everyone a clearer picture of the key factors at play. Just remember, this analysis is based on info up to mid-April 2025, and things can change quickly in this space.
What stands out most to you from this overview? Any further questions bubbling up? We definitely encourage you to continue your own research.
And if you found this exploration valuable, please do consider subscribing, liking, and maybe leaving a comment. Your feedback genuinely helps us shape future explorations to what you find most insightful.
Here's maybe a final thought to chew on. Considering the long-term shift toward cleaner energy and nuclear's likely role,
Yeah.
how might future tech advancements in reactor design, the next generation reactors, further impact the uranium market and companies like Cameco? It's definitely a fascinating area to watch going forward.